Hello, I'm Rich from Indiana LTAP and welcome to Tailgate Talks. Today we're going to talk about inspecting our salt spreader and salting equipment. What I have here today is a salt spreader from the city of Crawfordsville. This is a V-Box salt spreader. We're going to take a look at it before we go out and work for today. So before we go around the back of the truck, we want to make sure this truck is in park or neutral, parking brake is set. If we have an operator inside, we want to make sure that operator knows we're back here and that our hands are off the controls. So while I'm back here, I want to make sure there's two aspects to looking at this truck before we go out and work at it. One is the safety aspect of being back here, and the other is to make sure everything's in good working order. So first off, make sure that we respect this equipment. It's very dangerous equipment. Many snowplow drivers have been hurt over the years getting their hands or near some of the augers, some of the belts, some of the chains. So we want to respect this equipment. So make sure that first of all, nothing is running. In the case of this unit here, we have a chain back here. Make sure it's stopped and make sure we don't put our hands or any objects anywhere near that equipment. We also see here some safety decals. If this safety decals are here for a reason, I always like to say that these decals were hard-earned by people who've made some tragic mistakes. So let's respect these. These are telling us to keep our hands away from moving parts, and let's do that. If you notice these safety decals are worn or damaged, let somebody know so we can get those replaced. So as we come back here, we have all the safety aspects in mind. Let's start taking a look at the equipment and make sure it's in good working order. So I like to start with the top down. So on top of this unit, we have a grate up there, so we want to make sure it's bolted down and secure before we leave the yard. As we work our way down, we want to make sure the unit is secure to the truck. This unit has straps that lock down to the side of the bed. We want to make sure those straps aren't torn or worn or damaged. If they are, we want to get them looked at or replaced before we go out. All that is in order. We'll come back here to the back of the unit. We have our gate settings. We want to make sure this gate setting is set before we leave the yard for the work we want to do. Here we're using salt, so we have our gate setting set at 1.5 inches, 3 3/4 inches. So that's going to go to working order. We want to start taking a look at the unit, make sure everything's working. Here we have our gearbox. We want to make sure our gearbox is in good working order, secured, and no leaks. Here's our drive motor for our chain and belt. That's mounted safely, mounted securely, and that there's no leaks on it. Here you have your hoses going down to the spinner assembly. When you're looking at these hoses, don't run your hand down the hose. If that hose has a tear or some wire coming out, you can really seriously injure your hand with a cut. So as we go down to the spinner, we want to make sure we have no leaks at our spinner motor. Our hoses are in good condition. And then we want to look at our flaps for directing where the salt goes when it comes off the spinner. These are already set for us and they're pinned and secure, and that's great. It's also nice to mark those for what you're doing. If you have a couple different types of roads that you treat, you may have a couple different settings on those. So you want to make sure that they're set for the work that you're doing. So here we have a tailgate mounted spreader unit. This type of unit has an auger that is full length. We need to treat this unit with a great deal of respect. This auger can be very dangerous. We do not want to get our hands or loose clothing anywhere near it. We want to make sure when we're back here around the unit that it's shut off. And again, follow those procedures where we know the truck is in park or neutral, the parking brake is set. If we have an operator in the cab, that operator knows we're back here behind this unit. We have hoses, we have hydraulic motors at the end of the auger that we need to make sure are mounted, secure, and not leaking. We've got some hoses underneath that we have to check to make sure they're not hanging out of position and that they're in good shape, not leaking, no broken wires or anything. We have a spinner that's mounted underneath. That spinner is allowed to move in some cases. In some cases, it's got a bar attaching it to the back of the unit. As we raise the bed on this truck, that spinner remains in a level position so it can continue to spread material. We recommend that you do not move or spread material with the bed in the raised position, that you raise the bed, charge the spreader, lower the bed, and then spread material. This unit has some grease fittings on it. You want to make sure that it's properly lubricated and cared for. It's a great tool for spreading salt or sand. Some of the newer units are coming out with some safety features built in, so you can't lower this door or open this trough while the auger is in motion. Remember, during snowplow operations, we need to be extra careful with our equipment and our safety. This has been a Tailgate safety message from Indiana LTAP. Thanks for joining us. And as always, drive safe, work safe, be safe. We'll see you out on the road. LTAP is 10-8.